Om
Om
Vakradunda
Vakradanta
Mahakaya
Mahakaya
Surya Koti
Suryakoti
Samabhrabha
Samaprabha
Nirvignam
Nirvignam
Kurume
Kurume
Deva
Deva
Sarvakaryesu
Sarvakaryeshu
Sarvada
Sarvada Saraswati
Saraswati Namastubhyam
Namastubhyam
Varade
Varade
Kamarupini
Kamarupini
Vidyarambham
Vidyarambam
Karishyami
Karishyami
Siddhir
Siddhir
Bhavatame
Bhavatu
Sada
Me Sada
Gurur
Guru
Brahma
Brahma
Gurur Vishnu
Guru Vishnu
Gurur
Guru
Devo
Devo
Maheshwaraha
Maheshwara
Guru
Guru
Sakshat Param
Sakshat Param
Brahma
Brahma
Tasmai Shri
Tasmai Shri
Gurave
Gurave
Namaha
Namaha
Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvidhavadhetamastu Vidvishavahai Om Shanta Shanta Shanti Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Atha Tritiyodhyayaha
Atha Tritiyodhyayaha.
Shri Bhagavanuvacha
Shri Bhagavanuvacha.
Kamayesha Krodhayeshaha
Kama Yesha Krota Yeshaha.
Rajoguna Samudbhavaha
Rajoguna Samudbhavaha.
Mahashano Mahapapa
Mahashano Mahabhagma.
Vidhenamiha Vairinam
Vidhenamiha Vairinam.
Tumena Vriyate Vannihi
Tumena Vriyate Vannihi.
Yatha Darsho Malena Cha
Yatha darsho malena cha.
Yatholpena Vrito Garbhaha
Yatholpena vrto galvaha.
Tatha Tene Dhamavritam
Tadha tene tamavritam.
So that we have seen. As a reply to the question of Arjuna, impelled by what a man, though not desiring, performs karma which is not proper, which is dharmika. Bhagavan says, Kama Yeshaha, Krodha Yeshaha, the Kama which alone manifests in the form of anger. They are the product of Rajoguna, and they are Mahashanaha Mahapapa, a great devourer. It's a great papi. This Kama is a papi. Therefore, may you know this to be the enemies. This to be the enemy. Only one enemy, Kama. And this Kama covers the Jnana. Dharma, Viveka, Jnana. Like what? Like the fire is covered by the cloud, smoke, clouds of smoke. Smoke covers. Mirror is covered by the dust. Similarly, the fetus is covered by the womb. Similarly, the knowledge, dharma, viveka, jnanam is covered by this desire. The desire, what we talk about here, which is not keeping with dharma, or the desire which binds a person, not conducive for moksha. So that is the desire. Not all the desires which are not binding, desires which are not opposed to dharma, they are not they are not the enemies. Only those desires which are opposed to dharma, which binds a person, that desire is the enemy. So tata tene tamavrutam. Tena idam iti pronoun is used. What is that? It is explained. Tata tena idam avrutam. Idam avrutam, idam is ajnana. Idam avrutam. Idam is jnana, viveka jnana. Idam avrutam. This is covered. What is this? Idam is a pronoun. Tena, by that. That the topic is here. There's a kama. So kama covers. This is covered by kama. Now, what is this? That is the next shloka 39. That idam. The meaning of the word idam in 38 shloka is given in the 39th. What is that idam? That is the 39th shloka. Yes, let us read that. The covering illustrated in this shloka, that is 38th shloka, where drishtantas are given, is binding desire and its modifications. The next shloka reveals what is covered. Idam avrutam, this is covered, but what is that? It is knowledge, discriminative knowledge, dharma, adharma, viveka. It is covered. That is said in this shloka 39. Let us read. Avrutam jnanametena
Avrutam jnanametena
jnanino nityavairina
jnanino nityavairina
kamarupena kaunteya
kamarubhena kaunteya
dushpurena nalena cha
dushpurena nalena cha.
etena referring to kama. Etena nityavairina kam jnanam avrutam. Jnanam is covered. And this is covered, the jnanam is covered by this desire, this kama, which is enemy to always, nitya vairina, always enemy to the vice. Kama rupena, that is in the form of kama, the desire, and it is dushpurena analena cha, like anala is fire. Fire is insatiable. Fire will never say no. Alam na vidyate. The more you give, the more it will ask for. So therefore, dushpurena, which is not possible to satiate. Dushpurena. Pura means fill. Cannot be satisfied. So therefore insatiable. So this kama is the fire compared to the fire. As the fire is insatiable, alam buddhihi nasti. Similarly, enough. That buddhi enough. Desires cannot say enough. That's why insatiable. Cannot be satiated. The more you give, the more it will ask for. One desire is fulfilled, then it will give to the birth of another desire. Therefore, it is compared to the fire. So insatiable. Dushpurena means dukkena. That is difficult to satisfy. Analena. Anala is fire. Dushpurena analena kamarupena etena jnanam avrutam. And this kama is jnaninaha nitya vairina. Jnaninaha nitya vairina kamarupena dushpurena analena jnanam avrutam. Etena kamarupena dushpurena analena jnaninaha nitya vairina jnanam avrutam. Jnanam is covered. So jnanam is covered. That is said here. The word idam, this idam used the preceding shloka refers to jnanam. Here this knowledge is said to be covered by the enemy. Vairi means enemy. Enemy in the form of kama. Kama rupena nitya vairina. The enemy which is in the form of desire. Just as the fire, mirror, and fetus are covered by smoke, dust, and womb respectively. Therefore, similarly, this knowledge also is covered by the covered by kama, and kama is enemy, inimical. Smoke is not enemy. Smoke in one way can be called enemy because it covers the fire. The fire is not seen. The fire cannot illuminate. So it obstructs the illumination power of the fire. In that way, it is enemy. But kama is really enemy. It destroys a person. Smoke also. Smoke covers the fire. Finally, it extinguishes the fire also. Smoke covering the fire, and not covering the oxygen side. Therefore, at times the smoke, thick fog, that itself will put out the fire. And by what kind of karmas is the knowledge covered? By the karmas that are difficult to fulfill. Dushpurena, impossible to satiate. Analena. Anala means fire. Alamna vidyate. Fire. Fire is never satiated. More fuel you offer it, the more it wants. All its tongues are out, demanding more. Fire has tongues. Is the Mandaka Upanishad is said different tongues of the fire. Kali, Karali, cha, Manojavacha. That Kali is one tongue. Kali, Karali, the Manojavacha, Sulokitaya, Sudumravarna, Pulingini, Vishwaruchicha, Devi, Tela Yamana, it is Sapta Jitva, 7 tongues of fire. So it will stick out its tongue and ask for more and more. Therefore, the fire is called Analaha. Like fire, the desire also has no satiability. That is why desire is compared to Bhavaka, the fire. The fire is compared to 2 different tattvas. One is desire. Other one is fire is a purifier also. Bhavaka, it's a purifier. It doesn't leave anything. Just everything it makes it converts everything into ashes, purifies. So depending on the context, we take the drishtanta, we take the fire drishtanta. When we want to present fire as a purifier, then we say it is pavakaha. When we want to present fire as that which never gets satiated, then we will present fire as analaha. So here it is not satiable, therefore analaha, fire is called analaha. Like fire, desire also has no satiability, therefore it is referred to as anala. So anala means here desire, comparable to fire. Agnisthaniya. There is no such thing as fulfilling all your desires, so that after retirement there will be no unremaining. It is impossible. There is no such thing as a last desire, the last dregs of all one's desires. At no time can you say that you have only 5 remaining desires, and that if you fulfill these 5, everything will be perfect, because you will be purna, limitless. It's impossible. You cannot become purna by fulfilling any of the desires. Why? Because fire is insatiable. Therefore, purnatvam, expecting purnatvam by fulfilling one's karma is impossible. All desires flow from our sense of limitation. So how can there be the sense of purnatvam? And desires itself arise because of the lack of the sense of purnatvam. How can desires help in achieving purnatvam? Not possible. Desires themselves are born out of apurnatva, one sense of being limited. Every desire is an expression of this sense of limitation. This sense is like a perpetual spring from which all desires flow. New desires will keep flowing to the surface. Even if you have no particular desire at a given point in time, the buddhi will say, you are not even capable of desire. In the face of this new condemnation, you will again feel limited and desire to be free of the limitation. The adjective Nitya Vairina, meaning by the permanent enemy, indicates the karma is permanent. Shankaracharya provides an excellent commentary on the word Nitya Vairi. Knowledge can be covered by desire, even for one who is mature. Jnaninaha Nitya Vairina, who is mature and knows what is to be done and not to be done. The desire is difficult to fulfill and is both insatiable and inimical to those who are even discriminate. And why is this enemy described as permanent? Shankaracharya goes on to say that even before the desire comes, the person is a karya viveki, dharma viveki. If he is a viveki, he has a discriminative knowledge of what should be done and what should not be done. The person is a viveki, knows what is to be done and not to be done. But this knowing what is proper and improper doesn't mean that person will act accordingly. He knows. Does he act? Will he act? Even the discriminative person, knowing a particular desire is not good for him or her, is still trying to fulfill it because a desire can be more powerful than the wisdom of discrimination. Because a person knows both before and after that a given desire is not for one's well-being. Desire is referred to as permanent enemy, nitya vairi of the discriminating people. Though knowing very well, they get subjugated to the desire. Therefore, nitya vairi. One who is not discriminating knows only later that the binding desire is useless. Whereas at the time of desiring, the person thinks that to act on this particular desire will be wonderful. It seems to be the right thing to do. For example, a person who wants to make a killing on the stock market, they say, I have a new scheme and I'm going to make it work. In month's time, you will see how great my plan is. But after the time has passed, all there is to see is that the person is broken. I should have thought it over, the person will say, but I never thought of the possibilities of loss. Only later is there the discovery that the desire was costly. Anartha. Also, it was a cause of the person's subsequent problems. If he had not been greedy, I would not have become involved in this mess. So Shankaracharya says that karma is nitya vairi for the discriminative because it is consistent, constant enemy. Before and after acting, they know the desire will not benefit them in any way. Whereas for the non-discriminating person, the karma appears to be an enemy only after they have acted. The action not producing the benefits they had expected. That is the only difference. So one has to be highly discriminative, one has to apply the buddhi and filter the desire. It is not proper, it has to be dismissed at the buddhi level itself, not allowing them to convert it to action. So therefore, that being discriminative, it's fine, but putting the discrimination into practice. Even jnani, here the jnani referring to jnani means karya kari viveki. That is a jnani. The viveki knows, but is overpowered by the desire, the attraction. Therefore, he commits action and later he feels, which is in accordance with what he had expected before. That's the difference between jnani and between viveki and viveki. So both suffers. One knowing gets into action, gets into put the puts into action the desire, converts the desire into action, therefore commits that karma, the action, and then repents. Whereas Ajnani depends after having done that action. So Arjuna wanted to know who or what impelled people to perform actions. And because Arjuna also wanted to know how to be free of that, he impelled the proper action. Therefore, Krishna told him it is desire. Out of desire, people perform actions which are not proper, then how to deal with them. That is said in the next shloka, 40th shloka. Let us read. Indriyani mano buddhihi
Indriyani mano buddhihi
asya drishtana muchyate
asyadhisthanamuchyate
etair vimohayat yeshaha
edhairvimohayat yeshaha
jnanamavritya dehinam.
jnanamavrityate hinam.
Where does this kama reside? What is its location, locus? Indriyani, sense organs, manaha, and buddhi. This is a location. These are the location of the kama, adhishtanam. Kamasya adhishtanam. Kama as its adhishtanam, as its locus. Indriyani manaha buddhi. So sense organs, mind, intellect are the locus of kama. Deluded by this, etehi vimohayati yeshaha. The kama deludes a person. Etehi, with this, having this as the adhishtanam, kama deludes a person by covering the jnanam. Eginam jnanam. By covering the jnanam of the person deludes. Kama deludes. Etehi referring to indriyani manaha, buddhi, taihi, etehi, by these. So indriyani manaha buddhihi, etehi, with this, vimohayati, jnanam, avritya, covering the jnanam of the dehi, of the person. Eshaha vimohayati, this kama deludes. Its location is said to be the senses, mind, and intellect. Indriyani manaha buddhihi adhisthana uchyate. With this, that is sense organ, mind, intellect, kama, eshaha, kamaha, vimohayati, deludes the person. Deginam, by how? Jnanam avritya, by covering his wisdom, her wisdom, his or her wisdom. Krishna had told Arjuna that kama alone impels a person to perform actions. He or she knows to be improper. A desire can be so powerful that the means employed to fulfill it is not even questioned by the person. Whenever a particular end is very important to you, you can always compromise the means because all desire is for an end only, not for the means. So means are not worried. The end, so overpowered by the desire. So end only is the person sees, not the means. So therefore, actions are usually improper only with reference to the means. What means you have used for gaining a desired end? If the desire itself is wrong, that is different. Even if the desire is good, but improper means are applied, then also it is not proper. So for gaining a desired end, generally actions are done with improper means, the means which are not proper. The end is very rarely wrong. The end is very rarely wrong, whereas the means are often compromised. Because the end is so important, very important to the person. In some cases, both the means and the ends are wrong. Both the means and ends are wrong. Then the person is completely erratic. But the end is good, but the means are wrong. That is also not proper. And also is adharmika, proper action only. Because the end is good, the action cannot be justified. The means are not proper. So the villain in all of this is not a force outside yourself, nor is it yourself. And what is that? Is kama, is desire. The self itself is harmless. Self here means atma, not atma. It is not atma, or it is not some external force. It is kama. In fact, it is the self is clean shuddha. Atma is clean shuddha. Nor can the body do anything right or wrong. Body also is anatma. Body cannot do. It's anatma. So body is only a place, a location. So to the mind and senses are not harmful. Kama alone what creates the havoc. Even though the locus of the kama is the indriyani manaha buddhi, but they themselves are not harmful. It is kama. It is kama which have this as the adhishtanam creates problem. But kama is only inimical when it is binding in nature. When it is binding in nature, then only it is inimical. It's inimical, it is binding. When it is binding, it is inimical. It is for the moksha, for the mumukshu, not for the karmi. It is binding, and therefore it will be inimical for the mumukshu who wants moksha. So, and kama is inimical for if kama is inimical, even for the karmi, the kama is inimical. How when it is when the kama itself is end itself is not proper. The means employed to achieve the end also is not proper. So that is for the karmi. But here we are talking with regard to the mumukshu. So mumukshu, the karma is, if it is binding in nature, then it is enemy. That is why we say dharma viruddha kamaha is number one. Number two, it should not bind the person. If it is fulfilled, fine. If it is not fulfilled, also it is fine. Because the end is freedom for the mumukshu. Therefore, karma cannot bind in between. So that becomes an obstruction in the end. Therefore, it should not be binding. Thus, with reference to various ends, karma is located in various places in terms of physical actions, perceptions, and experiences. Knowing where desire is located, why this knowledge is required? Because if you know where it is located, it makes it possible to do something about it. This is similar to how the police deal with the thieves and other criminals. Investigation agencies keep records on habitual thieves based on certain repetitive patterns of behavior. Some thieves enter only through windows, and others open doors in a certain way. Some thieves pick up only certain things and leave everything else untouched. Each thief knows a place in which he or she can operate safely, meaning with less chance of being caught. Thus, criminals tend to be habitual offenders in two ways: type of offenses they commit, how they commit them. All that is required to catch them is discover the patterns, how they operate, when they spend that time, and so on. Similarly, here the criminal is karma. Therefore, it's not. Therefore, how they operate, what is the locus of operation, so that the knowledge of that is important to deal with. So that tasya adhisthana muchyate indriyani manaha buddhi. Then atma is free of desire. That we express. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Guru Namaha. Harihi Om. Namaha.